back on those that did some amazingly heroic things, and they complemented gaps and skill sets I did not have. And so have great people that are complementary to your skill set, not just kind of the same strengths that you have, but really kind of plug in all of the things that a business needs to operate, and figure out what you're super self-aware about, what you're great at and what you're not great at, and then get people that are world-class, that are way smarter than you at the other things that you're not great at. And the best way to, and that's kind of the skill performance fit, right? They've got to have a complementary skill set. But conversely, in parallel to that, early on, put a lot of thought into what your purpose as a company is. That's your why statement. Like, why do you exist? And really think about that, and if at all possible, try to make it a noble vision, something that will change the world, change the life of someone in a better way. And then if you can talk to people that want to join and say, here's our purpose, here's the why of this, of why we exist. If this deeply resonates with you, then join. If it doesn't, it's going to be way too hard for you to come take this job just for the paycheck. You're going to have to come here because you truly believe that this business must exist, because the purpose is something that must exist in the world to make a positive change. And if you get those people that are fully all in, committed, because they share your purpose and your vision and their complementary kind of skill set to yours, then you won't die in the first couple of years. Encourage you.
I think that would
I could have ended a lot more positive. And then you'll thrive in the first couple of years.
I would just say become expert at engaging mentors. Those mentors can be entrepreneurs who have done it before. They can be your peers. And there's an awful lot to be learned from everybody that you work with every day. A good friend of mine said, you can learn something from everyone every day. It's up to you to figure out what that is. So I would just say become an expert at engaging your mentors.
John, real quickly to kind of follow up on that in terms of taking advantage of resources. Because we get a lot of calls from people who are thinking about starting their own business or being an entrepreneur, and we just want to know where to go. It would seem to me that, correct me if I'm wrong, there are more resources available today than maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago in central Indiana. Is that accurate? Or?
It is, and especially amongst the innovation-driven entrepreneurs, this crowd, the tech forward. 15 years ago, when I became an entrepreneur, I've been one my whole life, but I'm officially I quit IBM and I'm going out, and everybody's going, what are you doing? It seemed a little bit crazy at the time. And my mom never has, for years, didn't understand what I did. She's like, it's something to do with pictures on the internet. And, she was always, it was always funny to hear my mom explain what I do. And probably the same a little bit, Sathi, when your mom explains.
Candy Crush.
Candy Crush, he said. When you look at the resources from traditional, small and medium business, when you're going to start a pizza shop or a trinkets shop or something like that, there's a lot that you can go to, ISBDC, Small Business Administration, et cetera. But then on the innovation-driven side, the Launch Indiana program, I'm assuming that was kind of a softball for me to...
It was.
Okay, all right, I just want to be sure. That program is designed to engage the entrepreneurs with the highest potential to bring wealth into our state. And so, honestly, anybody that calls up to Launch Fishers or comes up or sends us an email, we're going to engage with you, and we'll find a way to help you find the resources that can help you get started. It's just what we do. And luckily we have an administration, where we are right now. I would encourage you to listen to things like the governor's State of the State address tonight, and listen for key words and statements about how he and the administration and our legislature can and should support entrepreneurs, because an engaged public is how you make sure good things happen and bad things don't, right? Pay attention. So I would just encourage you, get engaged. Don't be afraid to pick up the telephone and ask for help of us. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone or send an email and call your representative or senator and just say, you know what, I want to understand where you stand on supporting entrepreneurs and innovators. I guarantee you, if this room right here banded together and said, we're all going to email tomorrow our representative and our senator and say, I want you to support the innovation and entrepreneurship initiatives the governor laid out last night, we're going to make a difference. I guarantee you. If they get 5 emails, they're paying attention to that. So I would encourage you to get engaged. don't be afraid to ask for help, and by all means, hit us up if we can help you at Launch Fishers or at Launch Indiana, either one of those websites.
Yes, sir.
It sounds like a lot of your successes are not from looking at somebody else and saying, oh, I can do this and make money at it. This is something that nobody else has done, and I have to have a process in place in order to get it to market to make money from it. Tell me a little bit about the challenges that you had. How long was it before you had the idea and you actually took it to market where you sold it, the idea or the concept? And yeah, and some of the challenges that took place.
So many challenges. So my partner and I came up with the idea in June of 2009. We launched that October. We launched as a technology company without a technology. We have always built the airplane in the air. Now we have an amazing, robust technology with 3 billion posts across film and television and everything that we can parse the data a million different ways, do predictive analytics on it. But we went out and sold it before it was created. We also decided to start in the entertainment industry with no experience in entertainment. So we were trying to even get on a studio lot is a giant process. So for us, it was about persistence, and it was just this inherent understanding that what we were doing was needed in the world. This is the way that the world is going, and we better get ahead of it. We found ourselves too far ahead of it. We were probably 2 or 3 years ahead of the curve. So we had some lean years and a lot of sleepless nights, but once it hit, and we've been in just an amazing growth mode since then.
You guys want anything else? Sure.
I think the one kind of pervasive myth that doesn't seem to go away about entrepreneurship is it's about the original idea. It most of the times truly isn't about the original idea. It's about the 10th evolution and the 10th iteration of that idea, and then that customer in the market saying, yeah, that you're finally onto something here, and then listening again and listening deeper and trying to figure out what's truly the problem that we're solving here. And it takes a lot of hours of talking to customers, of talking to the market to truly understand what their true need is, what their true problem is, and then to actually build a solution for it. And so for me, it was a continual iteration of one original idea. For me, I was working at Exact Target in Sydney, Australia, and I heard one statistic, and it was smartphones outsell PCs for the first time ever in 2011. And for me, that was just a lightning bolt moment. I just felt inspired. I thought mobile is going to be absolutely amazing. Consumers are there. They want to interact with everything on their smartphone, on their apps. It's going to be the main way that we all interact with it, and by far we do. We look at it 200 times a day. We spend 4 hours on it. We spend more time on our smartphone than we spend watching TV. So that original kind of idea or thesis turned out to be right, and then the other side of it was, and businesses will need to engage their key audience through the smartphone, through an app, to be able to achieve their mission if their audience is a critical component to them achieving our mission. So for us, we started in the church market, in the tourism market. We built a mobile app platform that ended up doing 800 mobile apps, and so we were actually one of the largest app developers in the Midwest. And then, the real kind of the idea that we were meant to pursue the entire time sort of arose from our own employees. They decided, hey, we have this audience engagement. We're helping visitors be more engaged in tourism. We're helping people in churches be more engaged with the church programming. What if we helped our own employees with this? And so it actually kicked off as an internal app that our team just decided to do for the benefit of our team. And then we saw the amazing power, and we fell in love with the purpose of helping improve lives by helping people be more engaged. The idea is we spend half of our waking lives at work, and if we can help a person have more meaning and more fulfillment or motivation from their work, then that's a really noble cause for us to pursue. So for us, it was a year and a half of me doing custom mobile app development in college and learning the mobile space, to then 3 years of building a mobile app platform for church and tourism, and now a year and a half into the employee engagement market, and finally finding our true fit and our true home, and kind of the final purpose, for the company, and really settled on that. So it was definitely a windy road, and a lot of lessons learned, and I don't think we would have succeeded at any stage if we hadn't learned the lessons that we did in each stage before, and we hadn't been willing to pivot and iterate our business model and our concept along the way to make sure that we were actually solving real problems for our customers.